Extension Master Gardeners are trained volunteer educators. They work within their local communities to encourage and promote environmentally sound horticulture practices through sustainable landscape management education and training. As an educational outreach component of Virginia Cooperative Extension, the Master Gardener program brings the resources of Virginia's land-grant universities, Virginia Tech and Virginia State University, to the people of the Commonwealth.
Hello, my name is Christina Verderosa. I'm a master gardener here in Newport News, Virginia, and a peninsula tree steward. And today I'm here to talk about the tree I'm standing under right now, the flowering dogwood. The flowering dogwood is one of the most popular trees in Virginia. It's our state tree and state flower, and there's a good reason for it there. The main attraction of it is, of course, its beautiful flowers and unusual flowers which bloom in the early spring. Now, an interesting thing is what we call the flowers are actually not flowers. The petals that are so distinctive and unusual are actually bracts, which is a modified leaf. If you want to find the flowers of the dogwood, you look in the middle of the little cluster there, little spikes there, and those are the actual flowers. But the attraction of the dogwood goes way beyond flowers. It is a wonderful tree for a residential landscape. And one of the reasons for that is, of course, its size. It doesn't get really big. So if you have a small yard, if you don't have a lot of room for a big oak or a pine tree, then a dogwood, which grows to about 30 feet at maturity, would be a great choice for you. But if you do have pine trees and oaks and things, I don't have room for something. The dogwood is actually a wonderful understory tree and will fit in very nicely underneath it there. The dogwood will grow in both sun and shade. And the dogwood also provides us with shade and with fall color. But in addition to those aesthetic reasons for having a dogwood, with the increased emphasis on the ecological functions of trees and plants and how they fit into the environment, the dogwood actually has several advantages there as well. It's a source of pollen, it's a source of nectar, and its fruit is a wonderful nutritious food for migrating birds. Now, unfortunately, though, the dogwood is not a problem-free tree. It's subject to several diseases and insects there. And one of the most serious problems is dogwood anthracnose, which unfortunately is showing itself in Virginia recently. Anthracnose is a fungal disease. It usually gets started in a cool, rainy spring. An anthracnose infection will show itself on the leaves first, and the leaves on the lower level of the tree. You'll see brown spots start to appear. If the disease progresses, it will get into the twigs, to the branches, and eventually, if left unchecked, will actually even get into the trunk of the tree. You'll start to see the formation of cankers, which are brown sunken spots on the branches or on the trunk. And if the trunk gets bad enough and the trunk can get girdled by the cankers, in which case your tree will die within 3 to 6 years if it gets far enough along. If a tree is girdled, that means the bark is removed all the way around the tree, leaving no connection here. And that interrupts the flow of nutrients up and down there, and that will kill the tree. It'll kill any tree, and there are many reasons a tree gets girdled. What you'll need to do is you want to intervene before things get that far if you spot this problem in your tree. And since a lot of it is weather related, there's not much you can do about that, but there are things you can do to control anthracnose, both culturally and chemically. Your cultural uh, processes, you'll want to prune away any diseased leaves, prune branches. You'll want to clear out around the tree and make sure that all diseased leaves, trash, and everything is taken away. It helps to mulch around your trees. You will want to, but make sure when you're mulching, you do the proper mulching procedures, and you don't mulch right up against the trunk of the tree. You don't want to do these mulch volcanoes that people like to do. Um, During hot, dry summers, you'll want to water it deeply. And remember, a dogwood does not like to be either too wet or too dry. Now, if you want to try chemical procedures, there are a lot of fungicides that will be helpful. And in the references at the end of this video, the several of them are listed. The important thing to remember in the use of fungicides is read the label. Read the label, read every word of it, and follow it to the absolute letter. Follow those instructions exactly. Now, the best way though to avoid anthracnose is to avoid it in the first place. Keep your trees healthy. If you're getting new dogwoods, the best way to do that is to make sure you plant resistant varieties. And there are many of them available commercially. They're listed once again in the references at the end of this video. But this is just an outline of recommended procedures. If you want more detail there, you can look at the references at the end of this video. So it's just a little matter of keeping an eye on your trees, making sure you spot problems early enough, and taking the appropriate procedures. And if you do that, you'll enjoy your dogwoods for many years to come.